Hello, I'm Ollie Furnival. Welcome to my video. Today's video is the first video that I'm doing on revision techniques. If you have any questions about the video, please use these to contact me, either through YouTube, please subscribe to Teaching and Learning, oliverfurnival@gmail.com, or Twitter at IBcoordinator_. Today's video is going to focus on the revision technique of past papers. Okay? So what I've done is I've created a document that I use for students in my school, revision techniques, and I'm going to use this document to go through highlighting different ways that you as students can revise for external exams, or you as teachers can use in your classes. So as I said, these revision techniques are mainly used for GCSE or A-levels in England, or as I'm teaching at the moment, the International Baccalaureate Diploma Programme. So today we're focusing on past papers. If you could come around with the video, and I'll just explain. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explain different ways you can use a past paper in your revision, and then at the end I'll give a summary with my ideas written on the screen. So what I've done first of all is I've highlighted the first important thing about using past papers is to get yourselves ready for the big exam day. Let's hope the past papers can stop your nerves and you can understand the process of how the exam works. So one thing you need to do, this example comes from biology, standard level paper 2 in the International Baccalaureate. One thing you need to be well aware of is the time you're going to be given in this exam. Now, when doing your past paper, you can either do the exam in real time, 1 hour 15 minutes, or you can go chunk by chunk, and I'll discuss both of those in more detail. You can see on the front of the exam paper that we have the clear instructions here. The main thing you need to do in your exam is be ready for your exam to know how the paper works. So while this biology guide is still alive and well, it won't change year on year. Paper 2 will always be 1 hour 15 minutes. You will always answer all questions in section A and one question in section B. So as I said, what you could do with an exam is you could do it in real time, giving yourself the exact time allowed. And this is worth noting how long you've taken to complete the exam and the types of question you have struggled with. So you could, in the exam, you realise here you've got 50 marks, and you can start working out how many marks you need for each section and linking it to the time. It's a good idea to do past papers at the start of your revision process, and the reason is that when you complete your past paper and mark it using, if we look here, the mark scheme, it's a really good indication of your strengths and weaknesses in the type of question that the exam is going to throw at you. So I suggest you use the the past paper to actually let you know what you need to focus your revision on. One other way you can use a past paper is to do this with a friend. Okay, you and your friend could sit the same paper and you could peer mark each other's work. This is good for you to do it either with a friend or on your own, because you then, when grading, you take on the role of the teacher. So the teacher, the examiner in this case, with the mark scheme, knows exactly what the examiners are looking for when they grade your mark. Okay, and it's a really good idea for you if you've done question 1 in section A, which is here. It's a really good idea for you to answer this question. Here are the questions here. And then if you relate it to the mark scheme, it will tell you exactly what the examiners are accepting and what they are not accepting. And if you practice that, then you're going to be better in the skill of working towards what the examiners want. So I can't say speak highly enough of the use of using the mark scheme with the past paper, and it's a good idea, as I said, to do it on your own, but also with friends, okay? Because then you can talk to each other, and if you're reading out from the point of view of an examiner, you're actually speaking as an examiner, and you're going to get more used to it. So another benefit of using a past paper is getting used to the language in the exam paper. As you can see here in this exam, they use what the examiners call command terms. So we've got identify, okay, distinguish, suggest. All the way through, you're going to see what you've got to do. Now, one big problem is that if you don't understand what compare actually means. So what I've done here is I've produced a command term glossary which I think is a good idea for you to do, and please email me if you'd like me to get this to you. But if I'm looking at my command term compare, what I'm going to do is read, and this is what the examiner's looking for. Give an account of the similarities between two or more items or situations, referring to both of them throughout. Okay, so this document here shows you what compare means, and then if you look here, you can see that it's in biology, but also you need to compare in English A, Japanese A, and you can see there's a lot of different subjects there where you're going to be using the same skill. Of course, in economics and biology, you will be comparing different things, but the key skill and the area where students often lose marks is where they're not actually sure of what the command term is asking them to do. So you really need to understand whether or not you need to show, for example, you're working out at times, and this document will help you. So my advice is to go through and look at the different types of questions you're being asked to do, because these will be used year after year. And you can also see state is worth a mark, and it's quite important that you understand the command term and link to how many marks it's giving you. So state here, okay, now if you say state, it says here, give a name, value, or brief answer, and here's a keyword without explanation or calculation. You don't need to do that. So don't waste your time in the exam calculating or explaining why you've come to your statement, okay? So that's why it's really important to do that in the exam. And also an exam, going through the exam, I can practice my section B, and I can practice, I've only got one to do, there's 3 choices here, and here, draw, outline, explain. Explain, outline, draw, explain, describe. Here are my command terms, okay, and I can see my explain is going to be an 8-point question, and again, I'm going to look for what does explain mean, okay? So explain is detailed, including reasons and causes, okay? So I should be used to explaining because I do it. Everyone, you know, we all do language. We've got group 3. Group 4 and group 3, 4 and 5 of the IB course showing you what to do there. Okay, another good thing about using an exam paper is it's going to be using real life questions. And what I mean is you're going to be seeing how the exam might use tables, okay? How it might use diagrams. So it's going to get you used to those questions, okay? The exam practice of this past paper will also allow you for time. You can stop yourself at different parts in the exam, and you can work out how long you're taking, and then you can practice your reading of tables. You can practice the skill, okay? We can see this table is worth along with part D, 5 points, and so you've got to work on your skills of how do you attack this type of question in the exam. Also, if you are someone who maybe a second language English student, it may be that you can work through if there's any sustained writing in the exam questions and what you need to look out for here. So practice, and it will give you the benefit of using real life questions. And as I said before, what you can do then, when you've done this exam, is that you can focus on any gaps in knowledge, and then these gaps in knowledge, because you've been through it on the mark scheme, can then produce for you a focus in your exam revision and allow you to talk to your teacher and ask the teacher, do they have any more of this type of question? For example, if I'm finding reading tables as hard in biology, then I could look in the textbooks and ask the teacher for any more table type questions in exams, okay? Now another way you could do it in the exam, as I said before, is you could get a collection of exam papers and not just go through one on its own, but you could get a collection of exam papers and you could focus on, let's say I'm a weak essay writer, let's say I'm never nailing more than 4 out of 8, on my essays. I could ask for past papers with section B, and then I could practice my revision around section B. Here I have my exam mark scheme, and here I have quite clearly the examiner's telling me what they're going to award and the maximums they're going to award. And here you see my the information I need, and I can see here I get 2 marks per essay on my quality of construction, so I might need to work on that to up my grade. So I'm now just going to summarise. Just go back to my document, my revision techniques document. So in this document, I go through each type of the revision techniques here. And I've put on past papers here, here's what you do, and just as importantly, the outcomes, okay? And I guess what I'd like to focus on is the outcome of practice and valuable experience. You don't want in any shape, way or form for the exam to scare you and for you to not be sure of the questions. You must make sure that you're used to the real life questions and the language that are used in the exam paper. Examination past papers are available online. Also, your teacher should have them in school, and there are other ways of going about it. You could, as I said, ask teacher for similar past paper type questions that they could get maybe 3 question bank. So, my advice to you really is to use these past papers, but not just going through them blindly, but using them as a focus for revision. So finding out where your strengths and weaknesses are, and using the past paper to really grade yourself and indeed your friends to help you explain as the examiner what the marks, where the marks are gained and lost in an exam, because every examiner in the world, when grading your exam, will only have the same information that you now have. So it's just a matter of using this information to pick up the skills, to pick up the skills in this mark scheme to allow you to get as many marks as you can in the exam. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for listening. If there's anything I have said that you'd like further clarification on, please get in touch via any of these. Thank you very much.